Alright, so one of the things you're going to come across in this entire year-long class is you're going to do a lot of informative writing and writing with evidence. Solely because throughout the whole course of the year, you are going to have to prove in some way, shape, or form using actual, factual, supporting evidence how Anna Garcia died, how you know she had this, how you know she had that, etc. So I found that if I give a general outline and an idea of really where you're going with this, students instantly start writing in a better fashion. So I'm kind of going to go over that with you right now. Here's how this kind of works. The first thing you do in informative writing is you have a topic sentence. In here, you're going to have pretty much the same topic sentence over and over and over again in the entire class. And that's going to be based on the evidence presented thus far in the mysterious death of Anna Garcia, blah, 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 blah. One of the first things you are actually going to complete in here is the first death hypothesis. The ending portion of that sentence is going to sound something like this. Based on the evidence presented thus far in the mysterious death of Anna Garcia, the most likely manner of death is blank, caused by blank. When somebody dies and a death certificate or something like that is filled out, the coroner or person performing the autopsy or the medical examiner are going to write down a manner of death and a cause of death. The manner of death fits typically into 3 or 4 categories depending on how you look at it. The 3 categories are homicide, accidental, natural, and that wishy-washy area of 4th category is actually suicide. So let's go back to step 1 real quick. Based on the evidence presented thus far in the mysterious death of Anna Garcia, the most likely manner of death is, let's say I'm going with accidental. You would continue that sentence with the cause of death. The cause of death is a specific thing within that manner of death. If you're going with something like accidental, you could go with blunt force trauma to the head due to a falling down the stairs. If it were homicide, you could say, in the mysterious death of Anna Garcia, the most likely manner of death was homicide caused by a gunshot wound to the chest. You could say with natural. You could say, in the case of Anna Garcia, the most likely cause of death the most likely manner of death is natural, caused by myocardial infarction, which is a heart attack. So that first topic sentence is you stating exactly what you think is happening or going on. After that, you have to support that statement with factual evidence as to how you know it is that manner and cause of death. So in here, typically we go with 3 different facts or pieces of evidence that are going to back that up. But you can't just say things like, the most likely manner of death was natural, caused by myocardial infarction. The first evidence is she had a heart attack. Or you can't say the first piece of evidence is she had graying or bluing of the fingernails. You have to actually explain how that piece of evidence supports the manner and cause of death. So like for fact number 1, I might say something like, the first piece of supporting evidence is the bluing of her fingernails. Bluing of fingernails is often caused by lack of oxygen reaching the tissues. Lack of oxygen reaching tissue is an indication of a heart attack. This results in bluing of the fingernails. That is a fact supporting our manner and cause of death, followed up by an explanation as to how it supports it. You have to do that 3 times. And then, if you have more evidence, facts, or pieces of information that are going to support your manner and cause of death, add them. All it does is, with an increase in evidence, it increases the strength of your argument. If you want to win an argument, you have to have more points supporting that argument. Here, we are writing informatively. You're trying to tell somebody how it occurred, not just tell them that it occurred. In doing so, you are explaining, not defending your point of view. When I say defending, typically when you're defending your own point of view or opinion, you are going to write in the first person, the second person. In informative writing in this class, you only write in the third person. There is no place in this class for I, me, we at all in explanation. For example, you would not write down on your paper, based on the evidence presented thus far in the mysterious death of Anna Garcia, I believe her manner of death is. If you write that, I'm instantly going to take points off. You are telling people, not defending your point of view. So, very end of that paragraph, you're going to wrap everything up with some kind of conclusion statement stating the main points from step 1 to 5. To summarize, the manner of death of Anna Garcia was accidental, caused by blunt force trauma to the head after falling down the stairs. The 3 pieces of evidence that support this are blah, 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 blah. End of paragraph. Really and truly, at the minimum, if you're writing this, you have a 1 sentence for your topic, 1 sentence for your fact, number 1, 1 sentence for explanation, 1 for fact 2, 1 for explanation, 1 for fact 3, 1 for explanation, and a conclusion sentence. That's 8 sentences. Really and truly, at the minimum, you would have to write in order to get this done effectively. So then I always have kids ask me, well, how do I start a sentence of supporting evidence? How do I start a sentence saying like, oh, this piece of evidence explains the manner and cause of death? It's easy. Example sentences that are as basic as you can probably get are right here. The boy was sad because Sally loved the ocean. For instance, she purchased a house on the beach. So if I make the statement of Sally loved the ocean, for instance is my lead into how I know she loved the ocean. So I'm explaining how I know that. Josh loves chocolate. For example, he regularly orders desserts primarily containing chocolate. You have evidence, you've seen it, you're backing it up. So why I capitalize a lot of these words is because they are evidence, explanation, buzzwords, or keywords. Here they are. These are the words you're going to use that kind of say, I can prove what's going on here. So you have because, for instance, the author said, according to the text on page blah, 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 from the reading, it is found that, therefore, for example, the lab tests show, that one's used a lot in here, in the case of, it is shown that, as in the case of, since we I said we, can't use first persons, since lab tests were performed, after all, I mean, these words will, if you just pick one, you can actually end up explaining something just by starting the sentence with one of these buzzwords or evidence-based terms. That's what you're going to do in here. When you get to the assignment of writing your first Anna Garcia death hypothesis, you're going to want to follow this format specifically. Don't use first person. Make sure you have at least 3 pieces of evidence and that each of those pieces of evidence is explained as to how it supports your manner and cause of death. Remember, there are 4 categories for manner of death. You have accidental, homicide, natural, and suicide. And then a cause of death is a specific thing that occurs within your manner. Just for example, again, one more time. An example of a manner of death would be natural, cause of death, heart attack, cause of death, all kinds of stuff. If you have any questions, let me know.